What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm continuing my series on the different types of narcissism. The last two videos I've done compared overt to covert narcissism and communal to antagonistic, and in this video I want to focus on agentic and malignant narcissism. If you haven't checked out my other videos, please do. Watch them, leave a comment, react to them. It really helps out the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So let's start off with the agentic narcissist. Now, by definition, agentic is an individual's power to control his or her own goals, actions, or destiny. And agentic sounds like agent, that's just the root of the word. The symptoms of this type of narcissism is an individual that asserts their importance, entitlement, and power, and they demand respect from their peers. This is specifically when they can exercise their control or influence. So the first thing that comes to mind when somebody's an agentic narcissist could be your boss or somebody you report to or someone who's higher up in the social status of wherever you are in whatever situation you're in. They could prioritize their own needs over others. The common theme of narcissists, they lack empathy, and in my last video I gave a definition of what empathy was, and just for a refresher, empathy is just the inability of someone to understand why someone's feeling the way that they are. Another symptom of a agentic narcissist is they exaggerate intelligence. They have a desire to climb up social or professional ladders. And again, this is just very, very telling of someone who is in a position like that, like your boss, for example, in a workspace. They'll just use you as pawns or whatever to just get where they want to be in life, and they don't care how it will affect people that they see that are lower than them. Now, this next type of narcissism was very interesting for me to research for this video, and full transparency, I've never heard it before. I've heard the other types that I've covered in these past videos, but this one I found very interesting, and this is malignant narcissism. Researching this, I believe this is one of the most dangerous types of narcissism you could encounter. The symptoms for this one is an individual who's highly abusive. Now, this could be mental or physical abuse, but nonetheless, it is abuse. These individuals get a sense of satisfaction from hurting others. They manipulate people or lie to gain money, acclaim, and other things that they desire. So this type of individual I feel like is the most dangerous because they could mentally or physically wear you out, and they'll manipulate you into doing whatever they want you to do in order for their own personal gain. I mentioned manipulation, and just for clarity, the definition of manipulation is an influence or control of another in a manner to facilitate one personal aims. This manipulation could be brought up in a lot of mental aspects, but especially in narcissism, because the individual will do whatever they feel is right for their own personal gain and not care how it affects anybody around them. I brought it up earlier in the agentic narcissist. They lack empathy. They do whatever they can to just rise in the social standing in whatever they feel is right for them. There's no empathy again. They don't care how it makes you feel. They can't see where it's coming from. In their mind, it's just like, okay, what can you do for me, and how can I make you do it, right? It's just this type of narcissism, I'll say, just be very wary of, because this is the first type that explicitly said the individual will be highly abusive, no matter physical or mental. Mental is just as important as physical health, in my opinion. So if you're in a situation like this, I highly advise to try to get help or get resources around you to just fully figure it out before a situation like this can escalate. So I came across this picture, and I just wanted to touch real quick on the similarity I found between agentic and communal narcissism. If you guys don't remember, I touched on communal narcissism in my last video. Be sure to check it out if you haven't. But this picture is stating, why haven't you said anything about my donation? Don't you understand how generous it was? Now, I feel like this could be applicable in both types of narcissism. We just went over how agentic narcissism is about an individual who specifically wants to exercise their control or influence over other people, prioritize their own needs over others, lack of empathy, the whole 9 yards, right? But it's also about an individual, specifically in a situation of professionalism. So I brought up a boss could be an agentic narcissist. Now, this situation could be the boss gave you a raise after years of asking, you never got it. We all know situations where you're overworked and underpaid, so maybe the boss finally gave it. But the boss maybe finally gave it so they could feel better about themselves. It's not so much that they think you deserve it, it's so they could tell people, maybe when they're hiring new people, they could be like, oh yeah, somebody asked me for a raise, and out of the kindness of my heart, I gave it to them. The same situation could be applied to communal narcissism when, if somebody is elected in a community position and they donate to the community, but they don't do it for the cause of whatever situation they're in. They do it because they think they're such a great person, and they will use that to just brag and talk about how great they are as a human, rather than the actual generous reason that it should be done. And I just wanted to touch on that very quick because I find it very interesting how all these types of narcissism that I'm researching have a very underlying factor, rather than the symptoms are more so the same. It's just situation could be applied to each and every one of them. So that brings me to the end of this video, and I believe I'm wrapping up the series on the different types of narcissism that I've researched the past couple of videos. I've done communal, antagonistic, agentic, and malignant. All of these types of narcissism, these individuals show the same underlying symptoms, but some can be more aggressive than the others. Out of all of these, I think the malignant and covert narcissism are the most dangerous types to encounter, only because the covert is an individual who's not really extroverted, they're very shy, but they have that in them that they could just put on that switch and just manipulate you from within and not really have any symptoms of actual narcissism. And the malignant one, for obvious reasons, just being highly abusive, is not a good thing, especially if it could be any type of abuse, physical or mental. And I hope this series gave you a little insight on the types of narcissism. I know there's probably a couple more that I missed, but it is difficult to try to get all of them. So I hope this 4 were good to begin with. I do plan on revisiting this and talk about different types in future videos. But the next video, or video types I want to do, I think it's going to be the tactics that narcissists used. I've researched for a couple of months now, and I feel like I have a good grasp of some of them, so I want to talk about the tactics, and I really want to bring up the origin of narcissism, because it is a very unique origin of how narcissism, the term, came to be. So with that being said, guys, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video. It really helps the channel. Please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for the support that I've been getting already. And without further ado, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.